Good evening, friends. I know everyone is little concerned about what's happening in the market. The month of July ended very positive. For the month, we saw a lot of gain, but month of August is creating some amount of concerns for the investors. And today I'm going to discuss about those concerns. आपकी स्ट्रेटेजी क्या होनी चाहिए इस मार्केट में. And of course, as usual, we will have a question and answer from you. But before I begin my webinar, there is a small disclaimer. Okay? This webinar is just to enhance your understanding about the equity market. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Investment in securities are subject to market risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. Now, if you look at this market, this journey I've called journey of GTF. What is GTF stands for? Greed to fear. I was talking to many people in the month of July. And the common theme across all them, including some of the fund managers, I must tell you that. क्या खराबी है मार्केट में? Market has still more legs to go. That greediness was there. If you ask someone to get or lock in some of the profits, people would say, no, I don't want to do it. The story of defense, story of railway, story of PSU banks was the name of the game. And if you ask someone to lock in profits, पागल है आदमी, पगला गया है. And that greed suddenly has come to the fear. Greed to fear, GTF stands for. Today, no one will ask me about what to do with the defense stocks. I distinctly recollect in 2022, ILCTC was doing extremely well. Every webinar I will have a question on ILCTC and people stop asking me that. Again, part of a railway pack. So that greed to fear the journey has happened. Why that greed journey has happened? Suddenly move from greed to fear. And the reasons I have jotted down and let me explain you, because once you understand the reason, then you become smarter investors, knowledgeable investors, and then you know how to navigate the market. Am I right? So the first thing which happened is a yen carry trade. And what is yen carry trade in the very simple term? Japanese yen, if you look at the rate of interest in Japan, is very marginal. In fact, it was many times was negative also. So you borrow money in Japanese yen, you invest in other assets outside Japan, which gives you higher yield. Just to give a simple example, you borrow in Japanese yen, put that money into US Treasury, risk free. वहाँ पे 5.5% मिल रहा है यूएस में. येन आपको ऑलमोस्ट 0% पे मिल रहा था कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग. आपका तो सीधा फायदा हो गया. सेकंड थिंग, द येन वाज डेप्रिसिएटिंग अगेंस्ट द डॉलर. You got another advantage, because when the loan repayment comes, you need less dollar to repay that. But suddenly क्या हुआ? There's a almost estimate there's a $1 trillion borrowings by the foreigners in the yen. And many of that would have been used for the yen carry trade. Now suddenly what happened? The Bank of Japan increased the rate of interest from 0 to 0.25. At the same time, in last 1 month, the yen, which was for $1 would have fetched you $160 yen, sorry. Now it's come down to 145. So suddenly a yen appreciated. Two things happen simultaneously. जो depreciation होना था वो कम हो गया, reverse हो गया. Plus you need to pay rate of interest now on that. Lot of positions very unhedged. And due to that, the market collapsed. Not only Japanese yen, we all know Nikkei collapsed in double digit and so on and so forth. But it created repercussions across the world. I would not be surprised in next 3 to 4 months we would see some of the leading, or maybe one or two leading global financial firm announcing bankruptcy. Because the impact of this takes some time to reflect, because a lot of people had to book losses, and that losses which has been booked will somewhere has to reflect, am I right? So that's one reason why market corrected. But second thing which happened, 2.8% GDP annual growth rate of US somewhere by mid of July. That number came for the second quarter. And then Friday, when the data came of unemployment, suddenly the story changed from soft landing to the hard landing of the US economy. And see, this is what I say always. And we have been very consistent in saying so. Sentiment is like, if it changes in a fickle. It doesn't take a time to change sentiment. If you would have asked someone in the mid of July, लगता है कि US economy will, in fact, no one used the word recession, forget about the hard landing, this one. And suddenly that again, recession came in the lingo. Why is that? Now people fear the first half US economy did extremely well, second half would be challenging. Why? Because unemployment data has really shows that there is a slowdown in the US economy. Am I right? Now that's what has happened. So yen carry trade, story of soft landing, and US is a big economy, Japanese is a big economy, number one and number two market cap in the world in terms of order. But that's not all. It's more to that. What is more to that? In the US, the name of the game was artificial intelligence. Am I right? And what that artificial intelligence was supposed to do? Completely change the dynamics of the many companies. NVIDIA, which was a clear-cut play on artificial intelligence, went on to become the most valuable company in the world. In last 1 month, it's down by 22%. Why is that so? If you remember, when I made my equity outlook presentation, the S&P 500 in the month of July closed in the green, but Nasdaq was closed in the red. Because now people are questioning in the US, okay, whatever investment you are making on artificial intelligence, what is the use case of that? How are you going to make money on that? And if you are not going to make money on that, how are you justifying return on that investment? And that created more fear on the technology stocks. We all know about Intel, which came out with the numbers few days back. In single day, the company cracked by 26%. 15% of the workforce they are asking to go. Suddenly, AI, which was name of the game, has become extremely vulnerable. Again, change in the sentiment. It takes no time to change in the sentiment. So sometimes, that's why I said recency bias is a very dangerous thing, because we assume what has worked in the past will work in the future. नहीं होता है वैसा. But the story doesn't end there also. See, things happen, so many things happening simultaneously does create that. What happened is that Middle East crisis started deepening. Because Israel hit some of the Hamas leaders, now there is a fear that Iran could retaliate and could take a revenge. Now geopolitical tension also further flared up. So when things in isolation may not make sense or may not create a fear, but if it happens with certain combo, it creates a fear. Another problem with the fear is the fear, what you call, magnify the fear, amplify the fear. And that's exactly what is happening. So once your mind gets fearful, everything you think fearful. वो बोलते हैं ना जब when you see a horror movie and when you come back home and the night if something happens, your mind is basically watch horror movie, it will think in that direction. Something similar is happening. Everything now investors are looking more in a fearful manner. और ये है तो ये हो जाएगा, ये है तो ये हो जाएगा. As we discuss in our economic outlook, equity outlook, we discuss about that how NSE came out with the margin, what we call number of stocks available for collateral, how the haircut has been increasing, will increase from 1st August. We all know that, STG and LTCG has been increasing the budget and STT on the derivatives has increased. More measures are expected from the SEBI in next 4 to 5 weeks. So these are all the fear again compounded this. Now what happened because of this? Yen carry trade, a soft landing to the hard landing, a question mark on the artificial intelligence investment on this, Middle East crisis. The global market had a tough time to hold on to the gains. Nikkei is at top of the chart, down by 11%, followed by Kospi. And as you can see, of course, Indian market is relatively better, but not so great. It's still close in the red. Now, when the global things happens, it's very difficult for you as an investor or as an economy to not to be part of that tsunami kind of stuff. Now the question comes over mind, what happens next? ये खाना खराबी जो होनी थी हो गई कि क्या करना है? And of course, I'll try to touch upon that in next few slides on that. But let's come back to the Indian macro. Now, when we look at the Indian macro, of course, the result season is not over. So what we have done is we have taken those companies we have declared June numbers, we have taken trailing 12 months for them, and those who have not yet declared, we have taken March as a trailing 12 months. And when we look at it, as of today, Indian market continues to trade at 27.3x. Is this the valuation cheap? The answer is no. The valuation definitely rich. So despite correction that we have seen in the market in the month of August, valuation is still at elevated level, isn't it? So that clearly gives an indication that there could be more pain for the investors. The global factors are anyway not helping us. Market valuations are very rich. So there would be a limited upside that we should expect. So sometimes we get little tempted. कि जो चीज़ 100 रुपये मिल रही है अभी 80 में मिल रही है, why not to buy that? Who knows that 80 can become 70 also and 60 also. So what looks cheap may not be cheap. That's what it looks like. And definitely I've been, last one and a half month I've been keep talking about the sector rotation and so on and so forth. I'll show you the data also. The monsoon has really improved, from 1st August till this one. Country as a whole has still 7%, from 3% excess to compared to long period average has gone to 7%. Am I right? But the northwest and east northeast continues to remain a deficit zone. -6%, so northwest has improved from -13 to -6, and east and north is -18 to -12. We don't know till now what could be the impact because of this on the what we call the crops. Till now, sowing has been better. That's what the data suggests. And I was reading some article which says that, not the article, but the research report, which says that the sowing seems to be better than compared to what it is last year. But last year was really bad year for us because of El Nino. So we need to wait and watch. Unfortunately, what has happened this time that some, where there is a good monsoon, the monsoon is far in excess. and places that are deficient. So I think market will definitely be looking at this monsoon data in a more closely manner, especially with the global factors coming in. Food inflation continues to remain at the elevated level, and that's another cause of concern for the central bank also. And this one, of course, I'll come and discuss what we should expect on Thursday when RBI is going to announce its monetary policy. We are in the result season, though. If you look at the June quarter, the numbers have improved. I must tell you from last time I came in front of you, the net profit of the India Inc. is up by 6%, which was, if my memory serves me, was 4%. So that improves. Almost 4/5 of the market, the company have declared the numbers. Am I right? So 80% of the company have declared the numbers in terms of market cap. So don't expect too much change. But let's come back to the we discussed about AI stocks. In the US, what was AI to the US, defense was in India. Now look at some of the story in the defense spec. In 1 month, Krishna defense is down by 27%, Bharat Dynamics 22%, Paras 20%, Hindustan Aeronautics 18%, Astran 9%, BL 11%, Nelco 11%, Dynamatic Technology 10%. Railway stocks very similar, Titagar 25%, Jupiter Wagons only dealing in circuit is down by 25%, Texmaco 12%, Rides 10%, Garden Ridge 22%, Cochin CMD at 19%, Mazgaon Talk 18% in 1 month. Again, I keep saying, do not get carried away. And like many of our PMS customers did ask us, many of you also ask us, why not defense? Why not railways? And we did articulate why we are not. Instead of investing in the recent leader, we chose to invest in the future leader in terms of our portfolio construct. Now that comes to what happened in the last 1 week because of this, kind of a negative news. Small cap index in 1 week is down by 6.1%. Mid cap down by 5.4%. I am talking index, remember 6% in 1 week is not a small number. Sensex is down by 3.5%, so is the case with Nifty. Only the one index which managed to close in the green was Pharma. And FMC did reasonably well. Sector rotation has become name of the game. So if you look at one of the best performing sector was realty, down by 9% in 1 week, and PSU Bank down by 8.2%, which is another sector which was really booming. Am I right? So that's what has happened. And if you look at the Bank Nifty, it performed better than the PSU Bank. It is down by 3.4%, but marginally outperformed the Nifty 50. Year to date, the story doesn't change much yet, but the small cap is up by 22%, mid cap up by 24%, and Sensex now up in single digit, while Nifty it's just barely managed to close in this one. The data may undergo change by the time December comes. FIIs have turned negative. They've sold in about 8,000 crore, and we all know that what happened to dollar rupee rate also. Am I right? So, is this selling will continue or will it get abated? My sense is that we may see more selling happening. Almost 32,000 crore inflow that we saw in the month of July. August, I think, should logically take away all that inflow that we came in the month of July. Now, what can happen? And that's why I put in a green. We all know that the next FOMC meeting is only scheduled in the month of September. Am I right? And most probably on 18th September, the data, the Fed is going to meet, and there was a consensus that 25 bips rate hike can come, rate cut can come, sorry. Now market is basically looking at it, a possibility of Fed announcing the rate cut much before that. Now forget about 25 bips. The market has started speculating that the rate cut could be 50 bips. Why? because of story changing from soft lending to the hard lending. Now, not only people are market is talking or speculating about 50 bips, only one rate cut of 50 bips in September or maybe before that. Now the market is basically budgeting 100 to 125 bips rate cut in 2024 itself. If you remember, at one point of time, market thought there will not be any rate cut. Then one rate cut, two rate cut of 25 bips. Now 100 to 125 bips. Change in the, see, I'm saying how this change has happened so suddenly. And that's the, हवा का रुख कैसे बदल जाता है जल्दी से is a classic example of the market. Whether it's a overall market sentiment, is it particular theme, like as we spoke about AI, defense, relevance, so on and so forth. So do expect, and that's why I put it in a green. If that happens, I think market can take some relief because the rate cut has happened from the Fed. Now the question comes, what happens to the RBI? Because RBI is going to meet the meeting on Thursday. Will RBI cut the rate of interest? If you ask me, my personal opinion, not MarketsMojo opinion, Mojo PMS opinion, I think the need of the hour is that RBI should focus on the growth in the economy rather than the inflation. Keeping in mind the global scenario, keeping in mind the local scenario. Many companies in the June numbers and also post-June numbers, the commentary did mention about the slowdown in their businesses. And I'm talking more about the consumer-facing businesses. Now, there are people who blaming Fed to be behind the curve. I hope RBI does not make that same error. So I personally believe RBI should do that. Now there's another challenge that will happen. Why? Because RBI has to also see what happens to the rupee rate versus the dollar. And if you cut the rate of interest, there could be further pressure on the rupee. Am I right? So I think it's a fine balance. But if you ask me, I did mention in front of you when I came in the equity outlook, probability is very low that RBI will cut the rate. But now I'm changing my view and saying because of these global factors. Logically, RBI should do that. That's what my expectation. Whether it happens, doesn't happen, we will have to wait and watch. It's just that we are just 36 hours away from, not 36, maybe 40 hours away from the RBI decision to do that. With this, what should be a strategy? That's, I think, I need to. If you are a weak-hearted, please stay away from the market. Market is likely to remain little volatile, choppy, because that various moving parts that's happening, and we never know what can hit and from somewhere. Am I right? So be careful with that. If you have money and you want to use this money in the equity market, which you don't need for next 3 to 4 years, please use every dip in the market to invest in a gradual manner, not in one go. Number 3, look at the stocks that you are holding in the portfolio. जो पहले चला है जरूरी नहीं है आगे भी जाके चलेगा. So you need to basically, wherever possible, where the scripts have run ahead of the fundamentals, learn the art of booking profit. कोई गलती से कंपनी पोर्टफोलियो में आ गई है, learn the art of booking losses. But remember, market is going to remain volatile, at least in the near term. The reason I am saying near term, because I don't know what kind of measures various governments across the world will keep announcing. to improve the sentiments. And that's why I'm saying the market will like to remain so volatile based on the news flow coming in, geopolitical tension happening, and so on and so forth. Is going to remain that. We know what happened yesterday in Bangladesh, am I right? So sorry, these are the factors this will keep coming in that will keep shape the market sentiment. Those who are long-term investors, there is no change in the story for them. Why? Because we have seen this kind of a volatility in the market in the past, and we'll see in the future also. But eventually, everyone made good money in this volatile time. And those who are smart investors that do use that volatility as a tool to create more wealth. But don't be go extra, aggressive and put at one go. You need to be do in a measured manner so that you can invest in a very sensible manner. So with this, I know you would have a lot of questions, and I'll be more than happy to try to answer to best of your satisfaction. Please open the floor for question and answer. Rahul is saying, are we expecting correction by 20-30% downside from September, October? Sir, 20-30% downside looks too bad actually. So to give an answer, no. I don't think we should expect 20-30% downside in next 2 months. No, sir. The current set of data does not make me believe that we should expect 20-30% end of a correction in the market. I hope you are referring to Indian market. Frank, in periods of calm, investors get rewarded for betting against volatility through product less with options. Your opinion, please. Sir, I don't trade in futures and options, and in the period of calm, investors get reward betting against volatility. That is true. But we are not in a period of calm, am I right? We are in a period of volatility. So I don't trade in futures and options. Whether I would recommend anyone to do that, because it needs lot of art, lot of patience, lot of strategy. It's not a cup of cup of tea for everybody. So you need to be a little calm. What I do actually, Frank sir, I said that I always remain long term in my approach, and those who are long term investors, there is nothing to worry for them. It is only for those who are little short term in their approach, they need to worry a lot about it. And investors definitely get rewarded when in the period of calm, because you earn that options. When you write the options, you earn that options. But when the situation turns, then you pay very heavily. I know one leading broking house from one of the leading business group. Okay, they are in this. That business group is from many years, for many decades, and their broking had to face a really tough time to make good that losses. Am I right? By thinking that market is going to remain in a low volatile zone, and they were taking options writing, and they burned their fingers very badly. But I don't know, sir, why are you asking this question? Frank sir, I don't know why you are saying in period of calm. We are not in a period of calm. I don't know. Or I'm not getting your question right. Maybe then pardon me for that. Khuradat sir is saying, how is your health now? I'm fine, sir. I had a throat infection. I went to the doctor. Doctor gave me medicines. I'm much better now. In fact, on Thursday, I was not able to speak. I had to hardly speak, but I was making an effort to speak. And Friday, things were better, but not so great. But I'm much better. Thanks for checking me out, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to watch and listen to your valuable webinar. I've been attending your webinars since last 2 years. Thanks a lot, sir. And please keep watching it. Not only my webinars, each and every team members of MarketsMojo family, everyone comes with lot of insights, lot of knowledge, lot of patience to come in front of you, and whatever little knowledge we have, we share in front of you. Ajit is saying, thank you so much. Appreciate you and MarketMojo team for immediately conducting webinar current issue. Consider the mindset of subscriber. What will be the effect of Bangladesh mess? UK writes, Hamas led recession and tension in Israel-Iran relationship. So, I think UK rights and Bangladesh, I don't think is going to be a problem for the world market or for the Indian market to say so. Of course, Ministry of External Affairs did issue an advisory if I happen to visit to the London. So that's a. But does it have any meaningful impact on the Indian market sentiment? Of course, some industry may get benefit and some industry may get disadvantage of that. While, for example, garment exports, they could get benefit. Why? Because Bangladesh is one of the major supplier of garment, and some of the people who were sourcing the garments from Bangladesh may come to India, and so that could be the benefit. But that's more on a micro level than the macro level. Am I right? But I did cover about Hamas leader assassination and tension in Israel. I think that's a cause of concern. That could be a cause of concern if there is a flare up there. Till such time it doesn't happen, but market is little fearful. Let's be very honest with you, Ajit ji. Ankit Gai, please tell any chance of gold going down, if there's how much level and when. Oh, sir. Ankit ji, if you remember, I did mention in my equity outlook presentation that gold may not move up substantially from here. So normally what happens when there is a fear, the gold people should go to the safer haven, am I right? But despite that, I am making a statement for two reasons. I was looking at some data of what's consumption of gold in the China. And China is one of the largest consumers of gold in the world. India comes next to that. And the demand has come down drastically. Second thing, the central banks of China was buying gold. They've stopped buying gold in last couple of months. So now what happens? There is a double impact on the and gold is a commodity, am I right? It's a demand and the supply. So my sense is that gold prices is not unlikely to move up so much in the second half. Now your question is which level and when? I don't have any data handle on that, sir. But I do believe that gold price from here upside is capped. But remember, Ankit ji, I've said time and again, gold should not be invested from the view on the gold. Gold should be invested 10 to 15% as a part of a balancing the portfolio so that your portfolio volatility comes down. So my request would be don't look at gold whether it's going to go up in next 3-4 months or not. See how much you've allocated as a part of your overall portfolio. If it is less than 10% increase, that's what my advice would be. But price right now in 2024, I don't see much of an upside. Taha Najsi said, in Mojo's QnA, I found that around 1,074 stocks had given return of more than 100% a year. MarketsMojo need to launch a super Mojo stock with holding period of more than 1 year and giving more than +% return a year. We require this product as that will be a peace of mind with high returns and tax benefit as well. Taha Najsi sir is a very good suggestion. I'll definitely pass on this feedback to Mohit, and Mohit will, based on the feasibility, will launch a product. And definitely good suggestion. Tahaji, I'll request Mohit to look into this. Ashok is saying, looking at your world, sir, what would be your advice, sir? Wait and watch or exit the portfolio? Ashok, sir, I clearly said what one should do. If you're a little faint-hearted investor, too much short-term, stay away from the market. There is no change in the story for the long-term investors. This kind of a yen carry trade scenario happened in the past also, and it will happen in the future also. Don't worry about it. Soft landing, hard landing of US economy has happened in the past. It's happened in the future also. Nothing to there's no this one. People questioning on ROI on artificial intelligence, that's a theme. Has happened in the past, will happen in the future. Geopolitical tension has happened in the past, which will happen in the future. I don't think one should exit the portfolio. On the contrary, if you have money and which you don't need for next 3 years, start investing in a tranches in the market. the long-term growth story of India is unchanged. So there could be a time correction, there could be a price correction that can happen. But that's why I said 3 years, am I right? There is nothing. And see, sometimes people say, अरे बाद में जब देख लेंगे ना पैसा आएगा, अरे बाद में मार्केट जब गिरेगा पैसा डाल देंगे. No one puts money when the sentiments are down. Because at that point of time, when the sentiments are down, there will be story that market will further go down. Am I right? तो guts ही नहीं होता आदमी को पैसा डालने के लिए. So please, I think in fact still it's not clear. Ashokji, please again put it. I'll be more than happy to do. Mr. Frank, did he put a question or I think I have answered that question, or was it my understanding about the question was wrong? अब उन्होंने पूछा रखा है वापिस फ्रैंक ने सर ने दूसरा क्वेश्चन डाल रहे हो. हाँ तो डाल दीजिए, आप पता ही मुझे क्या है उनका. Okay, this is okay. Japan interest rate hike, US recession fears may take offshore borrowing difficult for Indian corporates. Domestic companies which just begun tapping the offshore debt market this year. Following very little activity in the last 2 years on account of US Fed raising interest rate in the wake of Russia, Ukraine crisis and global inflation, the new development could make borrowing hard for Indian corporate. See, there are one thing which has happened is the rupee is depreciated against the dollar. Am I right? Rupee is depreciated against the dollar. So so what happens? Your cost of hedging when you borrow in dollar goes up. Am I right? On other hand, the borrowing cost is expected to come down because वहाँ पे जो if the Fed reduce the rate, so we need to wait and watch. And remember, the corporates have not been borrowing from banks. In case if it become difficult, banks will be more than happy to give a loan to the corporates. If you look at the loan book, whether it's an HDFC bank, whether it's an ICICI bank, whether it's an SBI, the corporate loan book has not been growing as much as retail book is growing. So they'll be more than happy to do that. So to your question, will there be a dearth of capital for the Indian companies? The answer is no. Hi George Joseph, good evening. What to do with the shipbuilding companies? Sir, I am not allowed to speak on the company specific. My request would be as follows, sir. Please look at the score of the company available on the MarketsMojo website, and based on that, take decision. Maharsh is saying, should you buy silver in this dip? Please set fundamental view behind the gold and silver and crude oil, and I suggest that as like stock, please provide Mojo score in gold, silver in your MarketsMojo IP. Maharsh sir, okay, how do we give Mojo score? Mojo score is a function of quality, valuation, recent quarterly financial performance, and the technical. Sir, tell us, how do we get Mojo score on gold and silver? The quality of gold, वो पहले भी जो था अभी भी वही है और आगे जाके वही रहेगा. There is no change. Valuations is a function of demand and supply. There is nothing which company declare numbers and उसका PE चलता है, price to book कुछ होता नहीं है. Recent quarterly financial performance. There is no quarterly financial performance. The only thing which is available with us is a technicals, and based on technicals we can. But we are, I don't think we will be happy to come out with the score based on one dot. So थोड़ा difficult लगता है. Should we buy silver in dip? Maybe yes, if it goes down by more than 10-15%. But otherwise, doesn't look like at this point of time that you should buy at this level. And what is the remember, fundamental view is gold and silver is ultimately a commodity. Is a function of demand and supply. Am I right? If there is a more demand, the price goes up. If there is a less demand, price goes down. Very simple equation. So that's the fundamental. So our sense is that demand for gold is declining. If global economic activity slows down, demand for silver will also decline. In both these cases, the prices should come down. And crude oil again is a function of demand and supply, and of course, the geopolitical tension. If geopolitical tension flares up, there is a possibility that crude may go up temporarily, but eventually we don't expect crude to go up too much in the rest of 2024, purely because of demand-supply situation. Varghese Thomas, sir, I think I keep getting this question. In fact, I got it, I think, last Friday also, if my memory serves me right. Is my prediction change? Answer is no. Kavya is saying, is MarketsMojo PM servicing investing staggered approach? No, at this point of time. We used to invest in staggered manner. We have not longer investing in a staggered manner. What we have done instead of that, Kavya ji, is that we have in PMS we have taken more exposure to the large cap because we were always high exposure to the mid and small cap, but because we wanted to protect the capital, we moved to the large cap, good quality companies. Number one. Number two, we have invested near about 10% in the liquid funds. So instead of doing staggered approach, we have taken 10% in the liquid fund. That's the approach we have taken, Kavya ji. So what is the suggestion on railway stock? Usman is saying exit hold after recent fall gain is approximately 15%. So, I think someone asked me about shipbuilding, someone is asking about railways, someone is asking about defense. We did mention Usman ji, if you remember in my last few webinars, that risk reward definitely not in a favor of reward. And we continue to believe even at this level, risk reward is not favorable. Vikram Singh, thanks for explaining the method in madness in such uncertain time. I'm not fearful in sitting with 50% in cash. What should I do now? I invest gradually more in Mojo strong buys or wait to get more clarity? Please do in tranches, Mojo strong buys. There is nothing wrong with that. Vijay Jai Nagar Jai Jagannath Sarji. I greatly admire your knowledge and your ability to assess situation. In the past, you assisted us by highlighting favorable risk reward design and saying, if you have any park funds, it is time to invest. It will be looking at Fronia signal this time as well, and will top up my investment in the moment you give a green light. You just have to say, go, Avijit, go. Bhag Milka Bhag. Thanks a lot, Avijit ji. We'll come back to you. Santosh Gaikwad, Bangladesh's recent events have raised alarm in Northeast. China might take advantage of situation and create tough situation for India. In India area, so-called chicken snake. Considering the scenario, do you think that such things happen? What will the impact on Indian markets? What is your take on this? What we are talking about is all possibility, is hypothetical. We need to wait and watch how situation develops in Bangladesh, what China prefers to do that, and what reaction Indian Army and Indian Air Force and Indian Defense will do that. See, whenever there is some kind of a things happens at the border, market do get little jittery. But what I've observed in last 30-35 years is that jitterness is only for a very brief period of time. It's not for this one. I think the chicken's neck is more to do with the Bhutan than the Bangladesh. But I'm very poor in geography, so please pardon me my understanding and logic, and I'm also not a defense expert. But my thing is that the factor that you should consider while investing or not investing in the market? My answer is no. So I am not using this probability also, this hypothesis also in my investment thesis. I don't think it's a matter of concern or something that we should worry about it. Even if that something happens, I think market will take it in stride. I don't think it's a major issue. From the investment point of view, don't get confused with this one. Mohan Kumar sir, glad to see your thought influx has gone. Thanks a lot, sir, for checking out. I have invested in some Mojo, hidden terms, momentum, etc. But see that many stocks are richly valued. Do I keep these stocks? So my request would be those companies which have come like Momentum, Namo, Hidden Turnaround has come based on the IP. So IP has its own logic and is this one. Am I right? So please remain invested in those, even though they are maybe richly valued. Am I right? And as and when the score changes or when they get exit, and you do get an email from us if there is an exit on this, at that point of time you should exit. Right now, I don't think you should do on your own anything ad hoc call on that. Ravi Rao is saying SIP flow continues to per month. This will artificially move up valuation. सर मेरा जो तजुर्बा कहता है, investors' sentiments are very, 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 very fickle. जो आदमी SIP करता है शायद वो बंद भी कर सकता है ना. It is not necessarily that because we assume everything. Am I right? If I like someone actually other day argued with me that some mutual funds have come with a defense what we call a scheme thematic. So why should defense stocks should go down? Because more flow is coming in. But the fact of the matter is that defense companies have come down. तो जरूरी नहीं है कि SIP फ्लो शायद वो पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा, लेकिन लमसम निकल जाएगा तो नेट नेट कम हो गया. That is also possible. If you remember the other day when I made a presentation in front of you, I said about 80% of the small caps are underperforming the benchmark in 1 year period. Now investors भी सोचेगा, does it make a sense? That fear that I am talking about may also apply to the mutual fund investors. So we need to wait and watch. I don't think we should not assume that SIP flow will remain perpetually strong only. Milind, is it good time to invest in US mutual fund? Sir, I'm not an expert on the US market, so will not be able to comment anything on this one. Please ask the relevant expert of the US mutual fund market and please take their advice. I don't want to pretend to be that I'm an expert in that market and hence recommend that. Amir, the reason I'm answering very quickly so that we can take more questions. It's fine with you, am I right? Yeah. Nimesh Kanani, one news spreading FIDFI will withdraw money from October to March. Its fund of size managing approximately 1,000. One news spreading that FIDFI will withdraw money from October to March. Its fund of size managing approximately 10,000 crore. They are always ahead of predicting big corrections. Sunil sir, your suggestion, please humble request. So I don't know, sir, to whom we are referring to. Whether FIDFI will withdraw money, not withdraw money from October to March. Right now, I said short term looks challenging. Why? Because the news flows are going to be coming from what government across the world taking measures, because it's not a US crisis or it's not a Nikkei crisis or not an India crisis. Am I right? Things are happening across the, and I've shown you for last 1 week, each and every leading indices across the world are in red actually. So it depending upon what government takes measures, what central banks takes measures, and so on and so forth. So big corrections, and I don't know, like someone asked me, the first question was asked to me, is 20-30% corrections. I doubt we should expect that kind of a corrections. Yes, market do look little heavy at this point of time, but 30% kind of corrections, I don't think it's possible right now with the whatever the data is available, whatever the news are available in the on the table, doesn't look like. Rajendra, carry on trade may not affect much to Japan, then why Japan market down so much? What reasons for today recovery? I don't know, sir, why market recovered today, and I don't know whether they will recover also not, to be very honest with you. See, remember, when the rate of interest goes up, so there are two things always market will be jittery of. Too much fluctuation in the currency and the rate of interest. Now these two things equity market will always. So when you see sudden spike on either side, equity market always take it with a pinch of salt. That's exactly what has happened with the Japanese market. Suddenly the yen coming appreciating against the dollar, and the Central Bank of Japan hiking the rate of interest. There's two things happening simultaneously did create that nervousness in the market. Ajay Ayer, given the geopolitical situation challenge in our neighboring, can you do a webinar on how investors should behave in case of a war breaks out in a region or new global hotspots emerge such as Taiwan, etc.? So what we'll do, Ajay ji, let that event happen. Na? Then I'll be in front of you. The way today I'm in front of you with yen carry trade, the hard landing of US economy, likely hard landing of US economy, geopolitical tension. Let that happen. See, unnecessarily, I don't want to be a fear mongering, ये हो जाएगा तो ये हो जाएगा. Let that event happen, Ajay ji. I'll be there. It's my promise. If that event happened today, latest by tomorrow, I'll be in front of you with my analysis. Because ज़्यादा फिर क्या होता है, see the human mind is this, when you are fearful, you want to attract fearful news only. So I don't want to unnecessarily create that further hyperness of that fear factor in everyone's mind. Someone asked me about this. I don't think that's an event that could be. And hotspot of Taiwan has been there for quite some time. Am I right? So it's there. Our region, I don't see much of a, like someone also asked chicken neck and so on and so forth. I did respond to that. So I don't think that's a major concern as we speak, Ajay ji. But in case if that happens, I will have to assess the situation at that point of time, because see, there are so many permutations, combinations when that happens. Am I right? And that permutations combination is very difficult for me to visualize also and make a presentation on that. But as and when that happens, then you know what are the events that are there, what is the things are happening at this one, and based on that you can take a very informed decision or informed opinion about that. So if that happens, I'll be in front of you. That's my promise to you, Ajay ji. Raj is saying, please guide us with your valuable input on what should be a medium to long-term investor do with much happening outside India than within India, which may have an adverse impact on Indian equity markets. Also throw some light if India's relatively high taxes keep India attractive investment destination, especially for NRIs. High taxes keep India active as investment destination, especially for NRIs. So, let me, you have two questions, so let me answer each separately. What should be a medium-term to long-term investors do with much happening outside India than within India, which may have an investment on Indian equity market? So, if you look at it, I'll give you a medical analogy to this. Suppose your immune system is strong, health-wise I'm talking, your body immune system is strong. If the outside virus attack is, it attacks you, you still may fall sick and you recover very fast, because your internal immune system is very, very strong. My sense is that India's economy is relatively strong and stable. So because of that, even there is a global disturbance, India should do reasonably well. Of course, I'm not saying if globally, if there is a slowdown, Indian economy will not have an impact. Of course, it will have an impact. But it will have a less impact as compared to the other parts of the world. And then what would the foreign investors would think of? Which is the bright spot in the global turmoil. If they see India is a bright spot in that global turmoil, they will come and put money. So in a way, what looked like a crisis for the world could be a good opportunity for the India. So I don't think it's going to have much of a big impact on this. One good thing I've also observed and realized that India is no longer on the whimsical, whims and fancy of a FIS investors. They have seen themselves also, when they exited Indian market also, Indian market shown a lot of resilience. Why? Because domestic flow has been very, very strong. Total number of active investors as on 30th June is about 4.5 crore. FNO is only 1 crore unique of that. In other words, I think we are talking about 3.5 crore actually. Then we have mutual fund investors, which are also equally strong. So I don't think much of a problem there in terms of the economy or the market, Indian market. High taxes keep Indian activity. See, remember, you know, whether we like it or not, and when you look at the global scenario, I do believe that India's, as of now, the tax rates are much better as compared to other parts of the world. Why I'm saying so? The short-term capital gain in many parts of the world tax at your personal income tax level. So if you're in 30% bracket, you get 30%. But right now we are paying only 20%, despite the new hike. Short-term capital gain, long-term capital gain, most of the parts of the world is at 20%. We are at 12.5%. Of course, normally people have a habit of comparing only with the Dubai or the Gulf region, but that's not the way. NRI are not only in this one, they are in the other parts of the world also, am I right? So I think we are reasonable in having said that. Rajji, one more thing I must make a prediction, is my personal opinion. Long-term capital gain will go up in the years to come, because I think globally, because of inequality of income, there is a more and more urgency on the part of the government to basically tax rich people. And due to that, if you remember, there was a data which was presented by Ministry of Finance post budget, which says that this 66% of the people, those who paid long term tax, has having more than 1 crore income or something of that sort. I'm forgetting the data. Sorry, I'm forgetting the data. I'm not able to recollect that interview which was happened post budget. But in a way, it says that the more people are, the rich people are paying the capital gain taxes, and if that is so, if they pay more, what is the problem there? I think that's the argument. Sunil sir, yesterday American investor Jim Rogers said he expects the market's next sell-off to be worst in lifetime because the debt has gone up very much everywhere. Even India has a debt now. Also, Warren Buffett company Berkshire had sold more than it bought 7 straight quarters. The cash take grew to 277 billion as of 30th June from 118 billion 3 months earlier. Is there anything which we can't see and these investors can see? If the US market will crash, it will have significant damage to Indian market as well, and retail investors like us. Please guide. To Yasil Kumar sir, I have a lot of respect for the name that you mentioned. And when I look at their own track record, this kind of statements have come again. They have come time and again. And you should see how many times they have actually proven right. Why are these people making statement now when the market has corrected? Where were they 1 week before or 10 days before? Suddenly तो डेट बढ़ नहीं गया है वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी का, कई वीक में बढ़ गया है क्या? सो आई एम नॉट वेरी फैन ऑफ फील्ड को एम्पलीफाई करना. Today in the world of internet, Google, and see the predictions. So whoever experts you believe is a very reliable expert to whom you basically, and they clone ka track record. I can tell you in 2022 or 2023, one of our Infinity customers sent us a piece of a newspaper. It got published in one of the pink newspaper by one of the experts talking about a big corrections in the market, Indian equity market. Risk season investors. I heard only to say that time बताएगा आपको क्या हुआ, and that thing never happened. I must tell you that also. So don't get too much worried about ये क्या होता है, That's why I said, that's why my head, what was my slide says? GTF, greed to fear. Now we are all becoming more and more fearful now. We will read only those news which sync with our psyche of fear. So don't worry too much about it. Yes, I know debt has gone up all across the world. It is a challenge. People will have to manage. India's debt level has not gone so much, and if you look at our foreign debt, which could be a problem, is not at all a problem. So don't worry too much about it. Now coming to the Warren Buffett. I have not done this webinar buy and hold strategy for quite some time, but I did mention at that point, or even the Warren Buffett does not all stocks is basically buy and hold forever. Am I right? Locking in profit is a good thing. And today Warren Buffett believes that in US market, the valuations are rich and hence he's waiting for the right opportunity time. Nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with that? He has done in the past and he may do in the future also. And I think his view has a more view on the US market than the Indian market. Now your question is that if US market falls, will Indian market not fall? The answer is yes, it can, but temporarily. What I can do, now this is a good question that Yasul Kumar sir, you had asked me. Let me go back. I'll ask my team to find out the year in which the US market closed in the red, but Indian market closed in the green. तो कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि US market नीचे जाएगा तो Indian market नीचे जाएगा. Of course, temporarily it will. I must tell you because of sentiment. But then what sentiments gets replaced by the fundamental story of this? And I'll get you the data. Don't worry. Where I have seen that US market closing in red and Indian market closing in the green. So I'll do that actually, and it's a good thing you inform me. So do we don't have questions or Amil time हो गया?
Time हो गया.
दो और question ले लो यार. I know because people have more fear, so it's our job to basically clear their doubts. Nihal is saying, given the geopolitical situation challenges in our neighborhood, can you do a webinar on how investors should behave in a case war breaks out in our region? अरे भाई तेरा तबीयत अच्छा है आमिर? ये सवाल तो वापस तूने रिपीट किया. Raj is saying, today I received an exit call from my model portfolio, which I supplied that a call from large cap and strong buy strategy, then why it is a sell call. My request would be, please send that email to our team. They will definitely look into it, why this has been happened. Is it because of profit booking? Is it because of fall from high category? I don't know. So that's the reason. Rajji, please write an email to our customer care department and someone will definitely respond to that. One more question, please, Amir. I know you need to. Nailes is saying, I already removed 60% of my capital after horrible budget. Shall I keep myself invested in stocks which are very good as per the Mojo and order book? Yes, Nailes, do that. But I'm a little surprised that you basically 60% of our capital basically you took it out. You know, you have taken too much cash call, which I would have not advised you to do that. But since you've anyway done it, Nailes ji, only challenge that you need to now figure it out. How do I basically reinvest that fund? And if you are able to time it, good luck to you. Most often than not, people are not able to time the market. So with this, I know, just to summarize, everyone, if you are weak-hearted, please stay away from the market. If you are long-term investors, nothing has changed for you. Remain calm and composed. This kind of crisis have come in the past. It will come in the future also. India's growth story is very much in tech. If you have money you don't need for next 3 years, please start investing in tranches. That's what my advice would be. With this, good night. Take care. I'll be in front of our PMS customers on Thursday, and maybe next week again in front of all of you. Good night. Take care.